We now have the first multimodal frontier world model, fully controllable. This is a world model that you can actually move around in, and it's available right now. You can play with it right now. And this video is brought to you by Vulture. More on them later. This is called Marble from World Labs. World Labs is the lab under Dr. Fei Li, renowned AI researcher. Now, what makes this really interesting is Fei Li and team think that world models are the way to artificial general intelligence, not large language models. Remember, these are two very different things. Large language models are predicting the next word in a sentence. World models are actually predicting what the world will look like, the physics, the lighting, everything. And obviously, the vast majority of frontier labs right now are using large language models, but now we finally have a frontier world model to play around with. They're calling it spatial intelligence. World models should reconstruct, generate, and simulate 3D worlds and allow both humans and agents to interact with them. And this is really important. Humans obviously can interact with them for things like video games, movies, practice environments, and so much more. But when agents are allowed to interact with a world model, all of a sudden we can use that data to train embodied agents, aka robots. So imagine you develop a world model of a factory floor. Rather than having to go out in the real world and collect all of this data to train a robot to operate on this factory floor, we can essentially recreate the factory floor in a digital environment, put a virtual robot in that environment, and allow it to essentially infinite scale its training. Today, we are making Marble, a first-in-class generative multimodal world model generally available for anyone to use. We've also drastically expanded Marble's capabilities. Remember, they had a preview a few months ago and are excited to highlight them here. One, multimodal Marble. Marble is now massively multimodal. It can create 3D worlds from text, images, video, or coarse 3D layouts. And stick around because I'm gonna actually demo the real product for you later in the video. And so once you create this world model of whatever you want to model, you can export it to visualize it. And there's multiple formats in which you can export it. Once generated 3D worlds can be exported as Gaussian splats, meshes, or videos. And so it's really cool because not only can you move around in the world, but you can also edit that exact world with consistency. It's really cool. I'm going to show it to you. So why is World Labs and Dr. Fei Li so bullish on world models versus language models? Well, like Jan LeCun has said, language models can only go so far. They cannot fully describe the world in which we live. And so he believes, and Dr. Fei Li believes, we need a different approach to fully model our world and thus hit artificial general and artificial super intelligence. Our human experience of the world is inherently multimodal. We use all of our senses to make sense of the world around us. We integrate sight, sound, touch, and language to build up a mental model of the outside world. These different representations work together, enriching and reinforcing each other to let us reason about the world and act within it. World models should work similarly. So here's the gist of how it works. It could take text, an image, multiple images, video, or a 3D scene. This is kind of the secret sauce, the Marble world model. It creates the world model, outputs a 3D world. Then you can either edit it or expand it and kind of go through that loop as many times as you want. And then finally, you can export it as an image, video, Gaussian splat, or mesh. Mesh is probably what you're familiar with if you've ever used things like Blender or Unreal Engine. But this is very different from that. This step of the 3D world creation doesn't actually create a mesh. It creates a representation of the world that is not like anything that we've used historically. Here's an example. Here's an image prompt, and then all of a sudden you have a generated world in which you can move around in it. And so basically it takes a two-dimensional image, and then all of a sudden you have a fully navigatable 3D world from that image. Pretty incredible. Here's another example with a text prompt, a station kitchen blending mid-century diner aesthetics with orbital tech featuring checkered floors and stainless fixtures under a soft aqua illumination. And so there we go. You can also do multi-image like this. Here's the front image. Here's the back image. So we can see two different images, very different. And it puts it together in a single 3D world that you can navigate. But not just two images, you can actually do multi-image. So we have 4 different images of the same office, and it created a hyper accurate 3D representation of this office. And you can even edit existing world models. Look at this. So edit, turn the entire back wall into a stage and replace the tables with low benches facing the stage. So you can see here's the original. This is where the stage is going to go over here. And there's the stage. And you can see instead of tables, we now have benches facing the stage. And there's the stage. Here's another one. Turn the turtles into tigers and turn the tall green plant into French fries. So there's the tall green plants. There are the turtles. And now flip to the other side. We can see there are the tigers and there are the French fries. Let's say you want to visualize what a remodel in your kitchen would look like. Well, that's now dead simple. Again, you can create this 3D representation with just an image. So you just take a picture of your kitchen, upload it, create the 3D image. Then you can say, okay, change everything to black countertops. And here's what that would look like. And all of a sudden you have, again, a hyper-realistic 3D representation of your kitchen with the potential remodel. You can also take a coarse 3D representation and essentially map a skin on top of it to make it look hyper realistic. So here's the coarse 3D representation with the text prompt, a beautiful modern art museum with wood flooring filled with colorful paintings and curving sculptures. And there we go. Very, very cool. Same thing here, course 3D and text prompt, a serene Scandinavian guest house bedroom with stunning views of glaciers. Okay. So there we go. And quickly, let me just tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Vultr. Vultr is the world's largest independent cloud provider, and they've been a fantastic partner to us. So I'm really excited to tell you about them again today. So if you need to provision GPUs, whether you're just tinkering on your own AI project or you're scaling up to production, Vultr is the place to go. They offer the latest AMD and NVIDIA GPUs, spanning 32 locations across 6 continents, so you're going to get the lowest latency. They also offer industry-leading price to performance with serious accessibility and reliability. So with Vultr's global, fully composable cloud infrastructure, you move your applications closer to your users and frees you from vendor lock-in, which you know I've talked about quite a bit on this channel. They also have Vultr Kubernetes engine, which allows you to scale beyond just a single container. So if you're tired of waiting in line for other GPU providers, check out Vultr today. They're offering my viewers $300 in credits for your first 30 days when you visit getvultr.com/Berman. And remember to use code Berman300. Thanks again to Vultr. Back to the video. Enough talk, let me show you it in action. This is marble.worldlabs.ai. It is available right now to use, no payment required, absolutely free, at least for now. All right, so let me show you a few of the samples. So here it is. We have kind of a futuristic, very neon lit hallway. And of course, we can move through it very easily. So just like that. So look at all the detail that we see. The neon looks great. Now, the further into the 3D representation you go, the blurrier it starts to get because it only goes so far. Now, the vision for this is to be able to infinitely generate these worlds. So as you're moving through it, it's already generating what's next. But you can see here, you kind of reach the end of the simulation. Now, one thing I really like to do, you can exit the generated portion and kind of look at it from the outside, as you can see here. And so that's really cool. Here's another one. So this is kind of like a space capsule overlooking what looks to be maybe Earth. And we can look around, we can move around, we can even look outside. Look how we move and you can actually see the Earth or whatever planet that is moving accurately. So I took a screenshot of one of my videos and I'm gonna try to have it recreate my office. Obviously it only has knowledge of what it can see, but let's see what it does. So I uploaded it. Let's click create and here we go. And as that's going, let me show you a couple other things. So one, it's very much like Sora in that it feels like a social network. You're putting out worlds, other people can like your worlds. They can kind of follow along with what you create. There's a studio in which you can create projects and you just have a lot more fine-grained control over what you're building. And there are paid tiers as well. So you can have a free plan, you get 7,000 credits, $20 a month, 20,000 credits. You also get a lot more features. They have a pro plan that's $35 a month, but you get a deal, $1 a month to start. And then the max plan, you get everything and a massive amount of credits, 120,000. Now it's interesting, just from that single image upload of my office, it actually wrote a lot of the prompt for me. Check this out. The scene is a modern home office or studio captured in a realistic style, exuding a professional yet comfortable tone. The environment is meticulously organized. Yep, thanks. With contemporary furniture and decor. Here it says a silver award plaque, possibly a YouTube play button, is prominently displayed on a lower shelf. reflecting achievement. And yeah, it kind of describes everything you can see in that image. All right, here is the 3D world it created. Okay, very interesting. So everything behind here looks somewhat accurate. We can actually move around and see it. I definitely don't have this massive television on my wall in front. Look at that. It even started to create the rest of my house. This is wild. Here, I've opened up the studio feature and we can actually obviously move around as well. We can transform, we can make it public. And this is where you can do things like fully control your environment, expand the environment, and much more. This is a pretty powerful product already. And one more time, thank you to Vultr for sponsoring this video. I'll drop all the links in the description below. Check them out. They've been a great partner. Let them know I sent you. So that's it. Let me know what you think about this. Try it out. I'll drop all the links in the description below. If you like this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.